Hello! Welcome back to Story Reckless. Thank you for joining this evening. I'm Nathan, I'm the DM here, and I use he, him pronouns. Let's do our player intros.
My name's Claire. My pronouns are they, them. I'm playing Kidom, a half-elf grave cleric. Yeah, I think that's about it, right?
That's it? That's it?
That's it.
What's your favorite color?
What's your favorite color?
Lavender.
Oh.
What quality does lavender have that you like about it?
It's very given.
It's a giving color?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kids say the darndest things. My name is Olive. I use she and they pronouns, and I'm going to be playing Calliope, Air Genasi Artificer. And I got a date tonight. I don't know if they know it's a date, but it's a date.
And what's your favorite color?
My favorite color is saffron. It hasn't really come up, but I am technically also a priest of dawn. It's kind of like a religious, where you swap students with a different
religious
organization.
exchange students.
Yeah. But with like the Hell Riders had that stuff. They like brought me in as a consultant, and then I kind of like put down roots. I just like never left. But anyway, I like the saffron robes. They look good on me, I think. They help me get my date.
Brings the color out of my name's Enyo. They, them, any all pronouns, playing Pip, a reckless satyr alchemist whose favorite color is, of course, gold.
And why is that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm an alchemist. It's my calling.
Amazing. All right. Well, with that, let's do a recap here. I need to refocus and remember what is happening and what we're doing. Here we go. Okay.
Take time.
Take my time. Thank you, Claire. Appreciate that.
That's what I'm excited about.
The date, yes. I feel like everybody is anxiously awaiting that. All right. Last we left off, our protagonists had fled Baldur's Gate. However, before fleeing, Kadam used a clairvoyant spell to watch their friend at this point, Disa's last moments, as Lady Vanthampur used Disa as an example. Who knows, you couldn't hear the speech, but used Disa in an execution, and you all watched as Disa was indeed executed. But Kadam used a sending spell to reach out to Disa in her final moments, giving her comfort and rest. And as this execution took place and Disa left this world, you saw the city of Baldur's Gate rise up in a fury against Lady Vanthampur as she turned her back on all of the citizens going behind the walls of the upper city. With our heroes, our protagonists, heading south to Candlekeep. Upon arriving in Candlekeep, they had some exchanges with some old acquaintances and eventually were brought to Kaelin Brightwood, and then eventually introduced to Silvira Savikas, a tiefling woman who is one of the great readers of Candlekeep, who specializes in the Great Wheel and the planes, the Outer Planes. She was very interested in all of your tales and information that you had, as she has suspected Thavius Krieg being in league with devils for quite some time. And essentially you brought all of the evidence to prove that, including this infernal puzzle box, which she received a bit of help from you all to unlock, and using some of her baubles at her disposal was able to unlock it. Very, very close, very nearly did not though, actually. But she was able to unlock it, revealing a copy of the contract that Thavius had signed between him and Lady Zariel, the Archduchess of Avernus, one of the 9 Archdukes of the Hells.
Dukes everywhere.
Dukes everywhere. They're everywhere. With that being revealed, and a bit of banter in the mix of this. Calliope with the gate guard Velma setting up a potential date later on with Velma at the hearth, and with Pip speaking to the great reader, one of 8 great readers of Candlekeep, throwing out a flirtatious line of "Would you like to be Fey touched as well?" Something to that effect. Well, Silvira took you up on the offer, and there's no going back now. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens later tonight. But we ended with Kadam pulling out Thavius Krieg's severed head and Amric's severed head, placing them on, I believe you placed them on Silvira's desk. And that is where we're going to pick up, with 2 heads resting there, staring out into the room, their lifeless eyes, not making eye contact with anyone. And I just saw just a death doula. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. I actually didn't know that, so thank you for enlightening me. That makes sense, though. Anyways, as we pick up here, Kanam, you've just taken the heads out, placed them on the desk. Silvira looking very curiously at the head on the desk. Well, I'm very curious to see where this goes. What would you all like to do?
I would like to decide what we're asking Thavius and Emric, if we want to, ahead of time, so we don't have a repeat of what happened last time.
Ahead of time.
Ahead of time, yes. But yeah, I have a few questions here that we might be interested in asking him. But we have 5, and I don't have 5 questions. So, and I will scribble down on a piece of paper and shove it towards everyone else, which you all can find in our text thread.
These all sound like good questions.
Sorry, they do or do not sound like
They
good
do.
questions?
They do sound
do,
like good
all right.
questions. I think perhaps, I mean, you are going to be the person to ask them, obviously, and perhaps the people who were involved in his death should not be in his line of sight.
I think that's a good idea. So, Calliope and Rhea, if you would step to the side when we actually do this.
We have some stuff to talk about anyway, I think.
Oh no, Rhea, you've gone mute again.
Rhea, I know this is a lot.
Rhea exchanges a glance with you, Calliope, and then looks back. Yes, all right, that sounds fine. She'll follow your lead, Calliope. All right, so as you step aside, in Silvira's office, this kind of sort of angled windowed front looking out over the ocean on the top floor of this squat tower, surrounded by bookshelves and strange baubles, resting on a big hard desk covered in messy papers and burnt down candles. What do you do, Kadam?
Would it be useful to ask how urgent the blood war is? That's the main reason he gave for, like, supporting her, other than he was caught between a rock and a hard place. Her being Zariel at this moment. Now you are mute. Pip.
Oh, why are you asking me this? I'm not the one who's involved in these politics. I think it might be worth it. How important is it to know whether or not he would actually do something? What can he do?
I mean, Nothing that I'm aware of now. I think he's down there. Like, if the contract is any indication,
Right.
with her. I
Then
don't
let's
know.
ask about the blood war then.
All right. 3. Well, that's 5 questions then. All right.
We don't need Amric for everything. 2 heads are not better than 1 in this case.
Yeah,
It's really
I'm not
just a
entirely
trophy,
sure
isn't it?
what we would ask him.
How does it feel to be dead? Is your brother there? Brothers? Do you miss
I
your mom?
imagine Thirstwell is. I do not know about. I don't.
I
remember
actually
anything
really
about
don't care.
Mortlaw.
I don't know. Those are rhetorical.
Well, I will take his head in my hands and angle myself so that he can't see Calliope or Rhea, and then cast Speak with Dead.
Okay. Do you do anything to cast Speak with Dead besides staring at the head in your hand?
That's a great question. Let's see. What is required?
I was thinking the exact same thing. Taking his head in my hands usually implies a different sort of scene.
Yeah, well, we ain't gonna have that scene right now. Oh, it requires burning incense.
Okay,
Do I have incense?
sure.
I do. So I will, I guess, light a stick
Okay,
and place it so that the head can inhale it
okay.
in
So,
order to trigger the spell.
so as you hold it in front of you and kind of gently drift the incense in front of the nostrils and the mouth, nothing seems to happen. And then you watch as the nostrils sort of gently flare outwards, and the head, as the smoke gets pulled into the nostrils and the mouth of this severed head, and the eyes look towards you, Kadam.
High Overseer Krieg, I'm very glad to get this opportunity to speak with you. I'm very sorry that you are dead right now. There was a great deal more that I would have liked to hear from you. It seems that you were forced to make a decision where there just weren't a good answer. And I was wondering if you could return El Terrell safely home with no negative repercussions for you or the city, would you do it?
The eyes still locked on you. No. I made my choice. I know what I did from the depths of my soul.
We'll see. In that case, could you tell us more about the Blood War? How urgent is it?
It is always present, so
Zariel. But she feels that she can be victorious. She knows she can be victorious. She just needs more.
How will the shield of the Hidden Lord pull Baldur's Gate down into Avernus?
I do not know. I was trying to get Gargouth out of the shield. Perhaps strike a deal.
What other options have you explored or heard about or think might be possible to pull down Baldur's Gate?
The shield corrupts all around it eventually. Perhaps if all of the souls within Baldur's Gate were to be corrupted beyond saving, it would grant a sliver, a doorway, an opening for Our Lady's influence to be felt, to be used to write up another contract and use her power.
All right. Do you have an idea of how long that would take, or how long the shield has been in Baldur's Gate?
Is this the fifth question?
Yep, I'm deviating from the script here.
Okay.
After we took it from its resting place, the corruption was spreading fast. We suspected that by the end of the year, perhaps,
And the head kind of goes stiff and limp in your hands once more as the eyes sort of coagulate with a thick gel as they look down towards the ground. That was fascinating to watch. I will never get sick of your divine powers. The way that clerics can do that, it's quite entertaining.
Thank you. I have found that being able to reach across the threshold to be useful, if not necessarily always pleasant.
I suppose for some it's unpleasant, for some it's just fascinating. Do you feel something when you do it? Like, is there do you get a sense of what the last remnants were feeling, or any sort of residual connection with the workings of the body that's left behind?
It feels kind of like speaking with a person who's distracted.
Huh.
Like, I don't quite have their full attention. They're thinking about something else.
Interesting. I mean, the way I understand it, you're not really speaking with their soul. If I understand correctly from everything I've read, it's almost like
It's the personality.
yes, whatever is left behind.
Like an echo?
Kind of like an echo. Yes, it's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Or a puppet, perhaps. But
No, because I think that implies that that would be just the body.
yes, you're right. Echo is a good phrase for it.
Yeah.
Well,
The clerics aren't the only ones who can do really cool things, Just saying.
but of course I know this. She'll just like wave her hand, and a little bit of light kind of radiates off her fingers and sort of drifts into the air. I mean, I know that's whatever. You've probably seen that before, but yes, of course. So what are you thinking after that little conversation that you had?
I'm thinking that we made the right choice. Getting out
Yes.
of Baldur's Gate.
You made a very good choice of bringing that shield here. As I said once before, I know Calliope here wishes to hold on to it. I understand. I'm not going to take it from you. It is entirely your choice to do whatever you will with it. But we do have very powerful vaults here that we could lock it into.
Ain't there magics that can get rid of good and evil in an area?
I believe so. I don't know if you could do that on something as powerful as this, but you can certainly.
Aren't you quite powerful?
Yes, but we're talking about a former Archduke of the Nine Hells. I would be. I'm quite powerful, trust me, but still, there are limits.
Well, I don't know if it would be a good idea necessarily. I mean, I could try just to rid it of magic, but again, like, I don't.
If we're going to rid it of magic, we may as well lock it away.
Pip,
Yeah.
you hear in your head the voice of Gaurgoth coming through.
Oh, that's right. He can hear everything we're saying, can't he?
Just to you, Pip.
No.
Please. Please, just take me with you. I swear I'll act as a faithful guide. I can show you around. If you're heading for Avernus, I know my way around, and you're not going to find a better guide. Please.
That's actually a good point. But I know I can't trust you.
Are you saying this in your head?
I know
or
better.
Out loud.
I'm saying this out loud.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Sylvira looks at you and cocks an eyebrow. You can continue.
the demon's talking to my head.
I'm not a demon.
You just keep calling it a demon. It must be. They must be really. Is he getting upset right now?
He is getting quite upset, yes. But he hasn't really done anything to prove that he's actually a devil to me. It's all hearsay right now.
Oh, trust me, he is a devil.
Oh no, I believe you. I'm just being a nuisance. He's saying that he would be a very good guide for us in Avernus, which I suspect would be true if he doesn't lead us into more trouble.
It makes a good point. Like, I mean, if we're going to be going there to try to get Elturel out, it'd be foolish for us to give that up. Is there anything that Baldur's Gate could give us in recompense for sealing away such a great evil?
Do you mean Candlekeep or?
That's what I said. Candlekeep.
Of course, of course.
Please forgive her. She's kind of old.
All these places that aren't Elturel all look the same to me. Come on, I'm focused on where I want to go.
Oh, please, this place is nothing like Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
that's
it
true.
really ain't.
I mean, just objectively speaking. Anyways, well, if you're taking the shield into hell, I don't know if you're really locking it away, because then it's at risk of being taken.
No. If we gave it to you, you'd be locking it away. And
I see.
there'd have to be some kind of like equalizing the scales, if you get my drift. Like, why would we give up a guide like this that we could make a contract with?
Out of the
And that's good enough for me.
Well, I was going to say out of the goodness of your hearts, and not to have such an evil in the world that could corrupt many souls. But I see that you're
On a
more
normal
savvy
day,
than-
maybe. But there's a lot more at stake here. This is a every possible advantage sort of situation, I believe.
Make a persuasion roll.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not really invested in it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12.
I'm sorry, Calliope, but no. I would say that we've already given you much. We've let you into the walls of the Great Keep, which normally we don't allow folks to come within these walls unless they. I think we've done quite a bit already.
And we've given you a lot already.
You
All this
have,
proof
and
stuff.
I'm very thankful for it, and I'm willing to continue working with you and provide you some assistance. One thing. Are you planning to find? You're trying to find a way to Avernus. Am I understanding this correctly? If what it is you want to do is, what is it you want to do? Do you want to save Elturel? Is that right?
Yes.
Raise it.
Raise it.
If it
out.
can go in one direction, it can go the other direction. That's one of the first laws of alchemy.
It's true. It's true. There's if yes. Right. Okay. Yes, I can aid you in getting to Elturel, if that is what you want. But that's the best I can do right now. So if that is good enough,
We'll think about it. We might not actually need shield. I know I'm not good at not succumbing to temptation. I'll say that right now, truthfully.
all right. Then I would recommend that you don't have that shield anywhere near you.
What? I clearly know what you think, but I'm just going to hold on to it just for a little bit longer because it makes me feel safe.
All right, fine.
But
It makes you feel safe.
did
What
I
a
really say
phrase.
that out loud? I'm sorry. It's hard having multiple voices in my head. I don't like this.
I can keep you safe. Yes, I can keep you very safe.
All right. Well, have fun. Yes.
The other thing that I do want to do is identify these vials and actually open this coffer.
Right. Okay. Sure. And she extends a hand towards the vials. May I
I'll
take a
hand
look?
one over. Yeah.
She grabs it and takes a look. You know what? Yeah, I actually am gonna have her roll for this because this is something a little different. I mean, when she grabs it, immediately she goes, "Okay, this is very remarkably similar to Demon Ichor.
Demon Ichor.
That's right. There's been quite a lot. It's actually quite fascinating because I've noticed this. This is not Demon Ichor. It's clearly a part of it, but it is something slightly different. There's something different about this Demon Ichor. It must be mixed with something, or and I'm gonna have her do
I'll
a
guide her.
quick roll. Oh, you're gonna guide her, okay?
Or still has advantage, actually. It has not been an hour.
On intelligence checks.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. And you also give her guidance?
No, I can't.
Oh, got it. Because you're yeah. Okay. Yeah, she got a 22. Looks at it, pulls the cork off. One moment. And she goes over to like a desk in the corner that has all these like vials and beakers and all sorts of alchemical instruments on it, and quickly
Pip is just like right behind her, like
pours it into a little dish, sets it down, takes some powder, and it kind of fizzles. She like grabs a little, almost like one of those jeweler like monocle things to magnify, and starts to look at it closely. Okay, yes. Part of this is demon ichor, but it has been mixed with something. It's been tampered with to make it more potent. This is explaining a lot. I'm assuming you're all aware of the Knoll incursion that's occurring.
Extremely.
I've been on the front lines with the Flaming Fist, and I've been observing the Knolls, and they've been bringing me bodies, and I've been dissecting them and doing my own observations. And these Knolls have been affected by something. They're very much being influenced by some sort of demonic presence, and it's a bit of a misconception that all Knolls are demons. That they're not. They were. According to the books, they were created by Inagu, by demons, but I'm not entirely certain that is the case. They are their own creature. They're much like us. They have their own ways of living. But the Knolls on the front have been twisted and malformed by some sort of demonic presence, and this is... I feel like this is not just a coincidence. I feel like there's some sort of connection here.
Thirstwell was working on some project to the south. That's what you said, Pip.
There you go. I suspect that this may have something to do with it. I don't know how they were doing it. My suspicion is if you were to ingest this... here, let me show you. And she takes like a stick and scoops up a thick little glob of it, and then grabs a beaker, sets it down, and like next to almost like a water jug, and like quickly fills it with a bit of water as she like pulls loose a little catch, and the water starts to fill it, and then closes it, and then dunks it in and sort of stirs it around and pulls it out as it sort of steams. And then waits a moment as you look at this cloudy water, and then you watch as it eventually just becomes more and more and more clear until eventually it just looks like the water, like there's nothing in it. Just as I suspected. So, if it is mixed within a water source, it becomes essentially undetectable. You can still smell it a bit. But if this were to be ingested, it would really... it would cause a lot of problems within with your insides. And sets it down. It would really mess everything up. It would probably corrupt you and drive you mad and make you probably ravenous, much like we've been seeing with these Knolls. So this is a really good find.
What is the advantage for Duke Vanthampur to start all of this Knoll ruckus?
I don't know. I don't know. Perhaps just chaos for some reason, to create a distraction, I don't know. She looks to you, Calliope. To you, Pip.
I mean, we see how these folks work, right? Like, Thirstwell, not Thirstwell, Thavius, used the excuse of this, like, that whole vampire undead situation to seize power. Tyrants love a crisis. might not have been like the only crisis they had brewing. Like the Elturel thing might be separate, it might be the same. I don't know. But like it smacks of that.
We can ask her head after we kill her, but importantly, do you think we could make an antidote? Anything that can be done can be undone. I mean, I can purify the water, sure, but that takes for so long.
I'm not sure, because something... So here's the thing. I don't know if the Vampires were expecting... If what you're saying is true, if they were trying to create some sort of crisis, I can see that. I don't know if they were expecting it to go in the direction it did, because these gnolls are now reproducing at a rate that is remarkable. The Flaming Fist can't even get close enough to their encampments because there are so many of them, and based on my trackings of their movements and how many we've been observing and counting, they are multiplying at a rate that is not natural. I suspect that... I wonder if maybe they weren't expecting it to quite get as out of hand as it did.
I'd believe that.
But I will see if I can work on something. Maybe I can devise some sort of antidote that could help them.
Great Reader, you haven't happened to meet a centaur woman by the name of Lovelace, have you?
Let me look.
Well, you've been out at the front. I
I
don't see why you would, but...
Oops, I forgot to put it on my new calendar. Hold on. Pulling out my old calendar.
The timelines.
I know. What did we really... Sorry, it's table talk. Did we decide that you... Do you remember you went to the front after you gave the letter, after you dropped the letter off? Is that right?
Yeah, I went
Okay.
straight to the front.
Then no, you have not met Silvira yet. No, I have not met any centaurs by the name of going by that name.
All right.
So what will we do when we get to hell? Okay, assuming you can get us to hell, what then?
Okay, the next lead, the best lead that I got, that I've been hearing out of all of this nonsense, is that we gotta find some original contract somewhere and look for an exit clause. Even though I think that this one has a pretty clear one. But I'll leave that to y'all legal experts. If we can get a copy of that original one somewhere in hell, then that's the only way.
And
According to Krieg, it was in the Capitol building of Elturel, and then the Great Reader here said that it probably was taken elsewhere. We could start just by looking in Elturel, asking around, seeing if anyone was there when it was taken.
All right.
as for getting you to hell, I could get you there. So doing it directly from Candlekeep is not possible. We have very powerful wards that prevent planar travel within the walls.
No, you don't. I've traveled between planes in here. I'm sorry, that was very rude of me. That has not been my experience.
When did you've traveled between planes? When did you do this?
The first time I stepped into Candlekeep, I opened up a book, and there was a doorway, and Lovelace went through it, and I followed.
Interesting. So it's almost like a Mordenkainen's mansion. Are you familiar with this spell?
Do not know what that is. It was a mansion.
I think that's the way that magic works is a little bit it's a little different than what I'm referring to. That's more of a pocket dimension. I don't fully understand how it works, but it's not quite the same as traveling to the outer planes. Anyways.
All right. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. I don't mind being challenged. I'm genuinely curious if you've done this. I would like to know more about it. Do you still have this book?
No. I believe it was in the,
It's fine. I'll
ask
Kaylin about it. Oh, somebody else is here. Hello. It's fine. You can leave it there. And she waves away a scribe that puts something down at the door, and then looks back. Anyways, what I was going to say though was, also hello Tabletop Misfits. Thanks for joining. We could go outside of the walls, and then I could prepare the proper spell and take you there. But I have a better idea. If you're willing to wait a night, I can arrange travel for you to head to my friend of mine. It will take you no more than half a day to get there. I have a friend who owes me a favor, and he can take you there.
It's good to have friends who have favors.
Yes. He also has someone that I think you would be interested in meeting. She has some experience in the Hells, as far as I can tell, and I think you'll be curious to speak with her and probably pick her brain. Her name is Lulu, and she lives with my friend Traxador.
Lulu and Traxador?
Yes. Those are those what's so funny?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. I think those are lovely names. Pip.
Look who's talking, Miss Pip.
If you don't like that name, you can call me something else.
I'll think about it. Anyways, these are the two of my friends, and Traxador owes me a favor. He can get you to Avernus, to El Terrell.
I'm not opposed. Certainly, I don't want to do it today. I would like to sleep in a bed and a bath, and also I would like to obtain some objects, if I might.
She turns to you, Calliope, again. Speaking of ways to help you, if this will sweeten the deal and convince you to leave the shield behind, I will give you free reign to explore any of the books within the walls of the Great Keep here. You can also look at the books within my office. If you want to read up a bit on the Hells before you go there, that might be, a little useful. Happy to provide that to you. I just can't give you any powerful magic items, as most of those are spoken for or locked away because they're too dangerous.
I can appreciate that. And I appreciate you in some other places, like if we were in El Terrell, honestly, if I was in your position, I'd probably just take it from us. So appreciate you not doing that. That's already pretty good. You've been a great help.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna scribble down on a piece of parchment a bunch of things.
Okay.
And I'm gonna text this to you, Nathan.
Go for it. She kind of claps her hands together. Oh, well, this was remarkably productive. Oh, you had one more thing, Kadam?
Yeah, do you have any of these objects that I might pay for? I have the coin.
Maybe? Oh, and you're texting me that, right.
Yeah, I'm shoving this across the table.
Was this part of the coffer, by the way? You mentioned the coffer. Was that just the money that was within it?
Oh, we have not yet opened the coffer.
Remind me which coffer this one is.
This was Thirstwell's personal one at the foot of his bed.
Got it. Okay. And was it it was locked?
I don't actually know that we've looked.
A lot of things are going on.
Shoved things in bags and ran.
Oh, that's so funny.
Here, give me the coffer. Let me just see if I can lockpick it.
Okay, hold on.
I gotta find Thurswell's bedroom and figure out what the hell was in his coffer.
Well, by the way, Kadam, I've never seen you be read before, and honestly, it was invigorating. Good for you. I know it feels bad now, but trust me, if you keep at it, it'll get better.
I didn't mean to snap. I'm just stressed.
I understand. Having a good night's sleep might help. It might help you.
Yeah.
You've been through a lot lately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Christ,
the coffer, you grab it, and... Oh, wait, hold on. That was the chest. You already unlocked that. Okay, you go to open the coffer. It pops open. It's not locked.
Pip had like her tools out anyway. It was like easy peasy.
And Clivey was actually like going and like pulling some gloves out. It's like, okay, never mind.
Inside of it is 73 gold pieces, 120 silver pieces, and then I do need to ask if anybody remembers this. When you opened the chest originally, did you find a healing potion in it? No? There's also a small vial inside that kind of clanks around within the coins, and you immediately identify it as a potion of healing.
All right.
Oh, so was there something special about that little wooden coffer?
No, we just haven't had time to catch our breaths and look at what we actually grabbed.
Of course.
Wait, Pip, did you end up grabbing one of those tapestries?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see what you're trying to get here. Okay.
We're among friends here. Wait, we pulled out the dude's head. You think she's really gonna be worried about burglar in his personal quarters for some art?
So
it was gonna be a surprise.
So she seems a little distracted. Did you pass over a list to her, Kadam, or did you did? Okay.
Yeah.
She's reading it, so she didn't like much like me in real life. She didn't quite hear what you guys are saying. So she's like reading the list and like looks up at Kadam. There's some fun things on here. I can definitely
I think
what sort of recreational items are you looking for?
Well, so that in particular, I suppose, would be a good question to ask you. What do devils lack other than souls? Like, what can we use as bargaining chips? That was just an idea.
I'm not sure if drugs will work on devils. Perhaps some drugs would. Others, it might not quite work. It depends. But yes, souls. Okay, if you're going down there, this is quite awful, but it is the hells. There is something known as a soul coin. It's pretty much what it sounds like. But you can, if you find a soul coin while you're in the hells, that is one of the most valuable things that you can find or get and can use in all sorts of trades and bargains and offers. They tend to be about this big. They are made of infernal iron, and they contain one soul. They can be used for all sorts of things, but typically speaking, they're used for currency. And they can be found all over the hells.
How much is one worth?
I think typically they're all about the same value throughout. I think they tend to use souls that are they're getting souls all the time. I think they just kind of have an area. I believe that they're minted by Mammon, I believe is the Archduke that creates the soul coins.
But I mean, like in gold piece value, would it be worth?
It's a good question. I don't know because I haven't. I've never. I mean, yes, they are. I'm not sure. I'm not sure you could offer a devil gold to receive a soul coin, because gold has some value within the hells, because they can always use it here on the material plane to tempt mortals. But I mean, you would need quite a lot of gold.
All right.
We'll keep an eye out, Kidam. We raid a lot of chests. Surely somebody has one.
But with the drugs, though, if you had some really potent drugs or something really rare here on the material plane, that might be of interest, again, to use in bargaining with devils. Or if you had an absolute fuck ton of drugs, they might be interested in that.
How about a sliver of Zariel's power? And I'm going to bring little dummy down. And
she looks at it.
Yeah, one moment. Pop out the little piece of what looked like amber.
Mm-hmm.
This is something we've been calling Squire crystals. This is all very top secret Elturel information, but I don't really know where all of that's like sitting right now. So I think, like I said, this is every possible advantage to our situation. And also, and thanks for you with being so free with your information. So this here is a Squire crystal. I've been researching it for a couple decades now. We've been able to take slices of the companion's power and store them in these little buddies. That's how the big one moves around, even when I'm not there.
Have you had Big Dummy out since you've been around Silvira? Okay.
Silvira doesn't know. That was to Kidan.
Yeah. Silvira goes, did you have a name for the big ones again? Were they called dragoons? Or
yeah,
dragoons. She goes, the dragoons, yes?
You know about it. Okay, great.
Maybe a little. Like I said, I've been keeping an eye on Elturel for quite some time since Davius took over, and I know.
Would you like to see one?
I would love to, and I would love to take a look at the Squire crystal. I have not gotten my hands on one. I just know a little bit about them.
I'm gonna, and like Big Dummy is just gonna start unfolding. I think Clampy's just excited to show her work finally, like after all of this like top secret stuff.
Silvira, her eyes go wide, and she kind of like gets down on her haunches to get lower, even though Big Dummy kind of like towers over her. When she's down low, she just gets really low like a kid and kind of looks up under it and looks around, just like...
Big Dummy is only medium sized. I'm just very small.
Okay, so Big Dummy is probably like 4 feet tall at most, something like that. 5.
Or I was thinking like an ostrich sort of situation.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, definitely big enough that when Silvira gets down, she can look under the chassis and is like looking at it, and she's going, "This is remarkable how it folds up." And are you using the same sort of enchantments that you would use on a bag of holding to?
No. So that's the cool thing. So like, it doesn't actually have to be enchantments, because enchantments, as you know, like need to be like relatively stable, and you can't fold in a bag of holding in on itself. But this thing, if you kind of like fold the manifolds, then you can kind of like get a cascading reaction of we were talking about those like pocket dimensions earlier.
Right.
But like you have to be very careful about the like syncing up the different waveforms here, because otherwise, like, you know, like you tell it fold up and then suddenly you don't got a lab anymore.
That's remarkable.
Like that.
That's
it's incredible, and it's powered by this sucker. And I'm just gonna like open up, like unscrew like a panel that just like says like "Do not take off," top secret. Just like break the seal on that, like cut a ribbon maybe, and it's just this like sunstone. Is I think the only way to describe it. This like kind of like multifaceted it's like there's order to it, but it's not like a perfectly cut gem. And it like flickers like starlight. It's not like steady. It looks like looking at a star. Um, yeah, it's just
That's beautiful.
honestly all it takes is like you just take it up and like bump it into the companion, and shoop, it's like I'm passing fire around.
You must have to. Do you wear something when you go?
Oh yeah, incredibly dangerous. You should have seen the suits. They're just these like big bulky things.
But is it safe now? Now that you've taken it out?
I mean, it's a lot smaller, but like, come on, feel it. It's warm, ain't it?
What would happen if it's ruptured?
You know what? That's a great question, and it's part of the reason that the Dragoons are still being field tested. We didn't know quite how safe they were.
All right. I would.
Come on, you weren't scared of that puzzle box at all, and that damn near took Pip's head off.
Oh yeah, no. How willing?
I'm sure that could take my head off too.
Yeah, it could.
Definitely. How willing would you be to let me examine all of this?
Honestly, if we're going down into the hells and like we all die, I'd rather this not just like end with us. Somebody up here should know.
And she gestures to the small one. I'm assuming you still have in your hand from Little Dummy.
Yeah.
Well, if depending on how comfortable you are, if you'd be willing to either lend me, what did you call them? Big Dummy?
Big Dummy, Little Dummy. Yeah, it's the Dragoons. Working titles.
Right. If you would be willing to lend Big Dummy and Little Dummy for the evening, I would just be so thankful to look over everything. But of course, I understand it's top secret.
Oh, no. Like, I think all those rules are suspended when your city's not on the plane. And I think I did murder the president. So I don't know if I'm even in the Hell Riders anymore. We're gonna sort that kind of stuff out afterwards.
That's a good point. Yes, you're probably a traitor. Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm in violation of that contract that we heard. We're supposed to like serve them and all that.
The Creed Resolute. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, that would be wonderful. But that will have to wait, as I have plans this evening.
I do too.
Oh, good.
In fact, here, let's just maybe spend a little bit. I'll show you the basics, and then we can all split up for the evening. It sounds like we all got stuff to do.
Perfect. She hunkers down with you and looks it over as the rest of you watch for a bit as she excitedly does this. And
He's so excited about this and like goes into like full-on sharing hyperfixation.
And as she's doing this, she kind of looks towards you, Kadam, and goes, "Oh, right. And kind of stands up and looks over the list. All of this should be doable. The diamonds...
That's frankly the most important one.
We might be able to scrounge something up. The library is very particular about holding on to such precious resources. I mean, we have some pretty old monks here, which if they die of old age, it doesn't really matter, but, it makes them feel safe.
Great Raider, we are talking about the safety and the justice of an entire city.
Oh,
and are trying to save another.
I don't disagree. I'm merely working with the realities of a large bureaucracy with politics and sometimes some very cold-hearted people. So I will do my best. I will probably need your help if you will come along with me and you can make your case to some individuals.
Certainly.
Well, would you be fine with doing that in the morning before I... And as for everything else, you can get everything else. I'll have a guide take you down to the Court of Air, and there's a general store there. Oh no, you know what? The tea house is gone. Oh, that's unfortunate. But there is a general store.
This tea house,
yes,
yeah.
They disappeared. The same time Stonky disappeared. There's some suspicion they may be connected. I'm not entirely sure. Yes.
Irony. Is Irony still a guide here?
Yes, Irony is still here.
I would love to see him again.
All right, I will fetch Irony for you so you can travel with him. And in the morning, we will go and speak with some of the top clerics within Candlekeep and see if we can get you that diamond before you head off to meet my friend Traxador. And as I said, if you want to, feel free. I will let the guide know. You will still, unfortunately, have to travel with a guide. No, not necessarily free reign, but I will give you a note, and you will have access to anything you would like while you're here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
I just realized something very bad.
What?
Potentially.
What's so bad?
The contract, it said, there's a bit about it that says, I acknowledge that all lands fallen under the light of the companion are forfeit to Zariel. Does this count? That'd be nice. I'm going to put this back in the box real quick.
Do that.
So they don't have any light. I'm just going to, and so I think I've pulled Savara back into.
Well, no, wait.
Oh, yeah, okay.
No. It doesn't, at this point, it doesn't matter. The light has already touched my office and me, so technically, this office is not land.
It's not land. It's not land.
Maybe? I don't know. All right. This is why we need longer contracts with definitions. Okay. Anything else? Because I would like to get on with my evening.
Pip is already just rummaging around at her at her desk, looking at all of the alchemy equipment.
Oh, at Silvera's desk.
Yeah, at Silvera's desk.
So Silvera kind of looks over. I'll get that in a minute. Just be careful, please. And then looks back at you, Kadam.
I'm a professional. Don't worry.
I would like to go over to Pip
Oh.
and just put a hand on her forearm. Pip, do you have or would you like birth control? I can provide you with some if you want it.
I don't want to be having this conversation with you.
Oh.
But I guess I have appreciated. I don't think it will be necessary. I have a lot of
It
potions.
won't be necessary. And then Silvera goes and is now goes back.
Silvera's ears.
And Silvera goes back to continue talking with Calliope.
All right.
Well, thanks, Dad.
I have a spell that lasts for a month. It works in any direction if you ever want it.
All right. What the hell? Actually, you know what? Just
leave her be.
How long does this spell take? No, it's okay. It's okay. I've got some potions right here. It's not a big deal.
All right.
That's amazing. Okay, so as you all...
I've been wanting to use this spell all campaign.
I know.
Wait, what spell is it? Yeah, just do it.
Protection against conception.
It's a homebrew spell.
What? That's an actual spell?
No.
For Kadam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Claire came up. It's actually really awesome. They haven't come up in the campaign because they're not. It's very rare that this comes up. Yeah, but Claire came up with some really cool homebrew spells, and that was one of them. So
is it a concentration spell?
No. No, I do not have to maintain concentration for a month.
Yeah. What level spell did we decide that one was?
Third.
Yeah, right. It's a high level spell. Yeah.
Otherwise everyone would have it.
Because everyone would have it. That's right. We decided it was probably something that patriarchs have access to, but not everyone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, slap that spell on me. Just do it.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
All right.
Who knows where this night will go?
Okay,
I'll take your hand, and you I mean, there's no visual. You just.
I'm just making eye contact with Sylvia, and then also Calliope, like, for science.
You feel barren, I guess.
Exactly like I want to. I'm Polly.
Great. Yeah, you cannot become pregnant, nor can you impregnate anyone for the next month. Next 30 days.
Okay. Good to know.
So as you finish casting the spell, and at this point, Sylvira is kind of like still really interested in the conversation that she's having with you, Calliope, but sees that they're wrapping up their conversation and then goes, okay. I do. I want to get to my night. I want to get to my evening. So let us talk more tomorrow over breakfast.
Fantastic.
You can come here. And I will get you both guides so you can go about the place. Like I said. Oh right. And she runs over to a desk and quickly scrawls out something on a piece of parchment. Takes some wax, pours it out onto the parchment, and then stamps it. Hands one to you, Kadam, and does the same for you, Calliope, and stamps it, hands it to you.
Hall passes. Fantastic.
Like I said, big bureaucracy, lots of rules. Yes.
I'm familiar.
And one moment, I need to get the scribe up here. One moment, please. And I'm trying to think of how she would do this. You know what? It doesn't matter. She'll just use sending. So she'll cast sending, and contacting someone. She summons a couple of scribes, and probably like 5 minutes later, a couple of scribes come running up. One of which she specifies as she casts a spending spell to be irony. So for you, Calliope, a scribe comes within 5 minutes. For you, Kadam, she's like, you're gonna have to. Can you wait outside? Is that all right in the hallway?
Yes.
All right, thanks. Okay, bye. And like pushes you out and closes the door. And for you, Kadam, it takes probably about 20 minutes before Irony shows up. He is actually quite thrilled to see you, and I think he goes in for a hug. I don't know, do you return the hug or do you kind of like retreat?
If he gives me enough heads up that it is clear that he is giving me a hug, I will return it. And
I don't know if I think he's young enough. He probably does the like quick run in hug, so there's probably not much time to react. So, yeah. So hugs you, and Calliope. I don't know where you would like to go while Pip is with Sylvira. Oh, you're going to the hearth, unless you want to go somewhere else first.
I have infused gloves of thievery and have +10 to sleight of hand.
Oh my god!
And I have been given a hall pass.
Oh my god!
And open access
with
one of the greatest.
With a guide, but yes.
With a guide, a guide, but that's why it's sleight of hand.
Oh my god! Okay.
Yeah, let's come back to me in a moment. I want to, or unless you want to give me some options.
No. Think about it. Think about what you want to do, and we will go to.
We need some
Pip.
diamonds.
And for you, Kadam, you can go ahead and get everything on your list, minus the, I would say minus the recreational drugs and the diamond, for now.
All right.
Yeah, because everything else was pretty much...
Do I receive gallons of holy water?
Right, gallons of holy water.
I would have communicated that mountains of powdered silver would also suffice.
Let's hold off on the holy water for now, because I feel like that's going to be in the same vein as the diamond.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see if that is possible or not. Yeah, get the full Sears catalog of options. Oh, right, and the healing potions. Let's wait on that as well before you make those purchases. But I think everything else, yeah, acid, antitoxin, all that stuff is listed in the player's handbook, so you can purchase it. And then I know some of these are more flavor items. You can just mark off like a copper piece for probably some of that stuff.
Sure.
Like the hard candy. So
Yeah.
So as the doors close, her back to you, Pip, standing in the room, and she kind of flurls around her robes as she looks at you. All right. So, what do you want to do this evening? We can go off somewhere. We can stay in for the night. You can tell me more about being fate touched, or you can show me. What do you want to do?
I was going to suggest, I am interested in your alchemical supplies, but it seems like you've been doing a lot of work lately.
I can show you if you'd like, if that's something you're curious about. We could also go somewhere. I have a little bit more, what is, I don't know how to describe it, but a bit more energy left for some really...
Do you like dancing?
I do.
Well, Pip
Do you have a
Yeah.
specific type of dance that you like to do from somewhere in the world?
I've seen a lot of dances in all the places I've been. I'm pretty good at all of them, I'd say. I am a... Is there anything you like? You tell me. I want to hear about you.
Sure, I can think of something. Have you ever heard of, wait a moment. Here we go. Have you ever heard of, Halruaa? It's a interesting place. Very recently become more interesting. But have you ever heard of it? Have you ever heard of the, they have a remarkable dance there. It involves, it's a partner dance, and it has sort of a more deliberate, slow tempo to it. It is very romantic, and there's lots of colors involved, mainly reds. And sometimes they like to incorporate flowers in with the dance, and these big flowing dresses that when you spin they kind of billow outwards and create wonderful shapes. Does that sound nice to you?
That sounds absolutely wonderful.
Why don't you take my hand?
Yeah.
She takes her hand and then goes, this is going to feel a little funny. And you feel your stomach drop. And suddenly you feel warm air hit your skin, and you're standing on some sort of stone balcony in like a town square, and you can kind of hear the lilting sound of a kind of nylon stringed guitar playing a rapid rhythm, and you hear multiple people sort of go sort of like aghast, and you look around and realize you're standing in a town square surrounded by many people, and stretching out before you, you're up on some high hilly cliffside, and the town stretches out below you, going down, 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 hundreds and hundreds of feet, and you see winding streets and twinkling lights, and far down below you can see the glistening of a river that winds between mountain valleys, and no moon above, just brilliant stars cascading all around you. You recognize the stars. You don't seem to have... They're a little different. Like their position has drastically shifted, but they're still familiar. But the air is much warmer here, and you can hear the music behind you. And as you turn and look, you see a orange tiled roof and like kind of stucco building, and the sound of the soft nylon guitar playing within some sort of big hall that's there behind you, and you can see people dressed up that are going in and out of the building. And she goes, Well, welcome to Halruaa. Shall we?
I would love to. Hold on, I feel like I'm a little underdressed here. I've kind of only had this. So Pip is going to use disguise self to just put on look around, sort of suss out the vibes, and put on kind of like a flamenco dress.
Amazing. As it billows out around you, she tilts up an eyebrow
and takes out like a little magical tinkering thing, sort of turns it into like a little flower that lights up red, and it's like hands it to her.
She takes it and sort of threads it into her pulled back hair, and so it kind of pokes out over the horns. All right. Well, I, for one, am very excited for this. I haven't been in quite some time, so it's nice to get out. And she as well will wave her hand as her clothes, in a similar guise, she casts disguise self on herself and her clothes. What is she? What do you think she's wearing with her disguise self? What were you gonna say? Did you have a suggestion?
Oh, with her disguise self.
Yeah. Or I have an idea, but what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
I'm just super excited to use my freaking fawn performance advantage. Just like for once.
Amazing. So she casts disguise self. Oh, Claire, can I ask for your assistance here? Because last time you dressed an NPC for me, I loved it so much. Would you mind?
Sure. Let's do. What, Pip? What colors are you wearing?
Red and gold.
Okay. So let's go with a. Let's do a complementary kind of true blue ruffled shirt with a bolero jacket with black with let's say piping in different kind of swirling patterns over the chest, and high-waisted matching trousers.
Yes. Okay. Amazing. I love it so much. So, as she has this outfit appear and then extends a hand and guides you into the dance hall. Pip, did you just roll your performance check with advantage? Did you just roll 2 8s? I'm so sorry. I don't know.
This is a very new dance for me.
Wait,
it's
that's
a little
2
difficult.
8s with +6.
With a plus
I know. I rolled 2
2s.
You rolled 2 2s. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oof.
You know what? It's the boot wine. I took out the boot wine. We've been chugging it.
So
we're having.
So yeah.
Should have gone with the boot tapestry, not the boot wine. I'm telling you.
Your first attempt at this new dance style. We'll say, because you rolled 2 2s, you've never been this far south, and you've never been to Halruaa and experienced this style of dance. So there is an immense amount of trotting on feet of Silvira's feet, and kind of bumping into each other, not quite getting the right move, and going for a spin, but you kind of like overcompensate and do one too many spins, and she has to catch you and pull you back. It's very clumsy and awkward. She's having a blast though, like not upset by this, just kind of like giddy and laughing at the clear lack of experience that you have with this.
It just leans into it.
Within like an hour of this, she kind of looks at you and goes, I think you can do better than this. Come on, we've been doing this for an hour and you're still, I can just sense you're almost there. I'll give you one more chance to roll a performance check.
If I get another 8.
Very far into this this dance.
+6. Like, come on.
There we go.
Oh!
So after redemption roll. Oh, here, I'll show our audience. After another hour of dancing, by the end of this hour, it still starts out rough, but you are starting to pick up on it. And by the end, I mean, Pip, what do you imagine happening here by the end of this second hour as you and Sylvira are dancing? What is this looking like? You're inside this beautiful arched dance hall. The windows are multicolored stained glass windows that are filled with light and color from all of the burning candles within this space. And the space is warm and hot, and everyone's sweating, and there's a scent of kind of body odor and wine and just life in the room. And by the end of the second hour, what are we seeing as what is Pip doing?
So, Pip has been sort of twirling and falling a little bit, and Sylvia has been definitely turning those falls into more serviceable spins until finally Pip seems to kind of catch the momentum and just whirls into her arms and learns how to make her fake skirts just like go flying. Decides to really just add some of her natural fawn mirthful leaps into it and focus on footwork.
And as you are getting more and more comfortable with this, and Sylvira starts to become in tune with the way you're moving, there are moments where you end up leaping far up over Sylvira's head, and she catches your waist and sort of spins you around with the momentum, bringing you down so that it feels like you are sort of gliding up through the air and then landing. You start to draw eyes and attention from various people in the crowd, and you see some very finely dressed individuals who kind of step back for a moment and start to give a little clap at your performance.
Bounce.
As you continue to dance and really become in tune with each other, she goes, "Shall we really put on the show? I could really plus this up if you want," as she's spinning you around and pulls you in close.
Absolutely. Exuberance is a spice of life.
All right. I hope that you're comfortable with heights. And she'll cast fly at 4th level. I think she can get 2 people with that. I believe that's how that spell works. Let me make sure.
Oh my god, I had a potion of flight too. But
yeah.
This is what
okay. At 4th level,
no.
you can target 1 additional creature. So cast fly on 4th level, and throws like kind of as or she puts her hands on your waist and looks at you and goes, "You ready for another one of those leaps?"
We'll find out.
Here we go. And spins you and then kind of twirls you out as she extends an arm like this. And with that momentum, what do you do? Do you leap up or something else?
Yes. Leap up just kind of like that. And maybe I've gotten like handfuls of flower petals from somewhere, just like tossing them out, and maybe little bits of wine because
so as you
the jug's still in my hand. As
you extend your hands out, one hand holding your wineskin, the other holding flower petals. The flower petals cascade behind you like almost like an air show of streamers. You continue that momentum and just start drifting up towards the ceiling as the wine trickles out behind you. And Sylvira down on the ground, grinning, looking up at you, her canines glinting in the candlelight. Everyone, and she runs, does a little skip, and then does a full like ballet leap as she leaps up and her legs extend out, and she coasts up to the ceiling with you and catches you and pulls you in tight and then spins you around outwards as you continue the dance, flying up above the crowd. Needless to say, you have a wonderful evening. Well, I don't know how you feel about it, but Silvira is having a great time flying with you up above the dance crowd, continuing to spin and do this dance.
So this is indoors.
This is indoors, like yeah.
Okay.
You're like up towards the arched ceiling of this dance hall.
Pip kind of just leans into Silvira and says, I want to show you something. Maybe not here, but I'd like to show you.
Sure. Shall we make an exit?
Lead the way.
And she will give you one more spin, pull you in, do a dip, and a let me double check. Can they? Yeah. Okay, she does a dip. And below you, you feel her hand run up your spine and trace a symbol on your back. And as you dip backwards, you see below you the crowd extended out, all looking up in excitement. And then this shimmering doorway opens up before you. And she goes, just drop and let's go. Do you let the fly spell, like, do you kind of let it loose so that gravity takes you?
Yeah, Pip's gonna trust her.
Okay, so as gravity, you fall through the doorway. And
just because it looks so cool.
And as you see her grinning face disappear and the energy take up your vision and then clear, you just see starlight overhead. And the shimmering door quickly retreating away from you. And then you see Silvira swan dive through, coming towards you. As she dips down towards you, she goes, okay, you might want to fly now. As she continues falling towards you. What do you do?
Oh, fly up to meet her and... Okay. Yeah.
So as you
maybe just like yourself, grab hands.
Yeah, stop yourself and you grab hands and then kind of right yourselves up. You realize you look around and you're about 400 feet above where you were, above the dance hall and above the city of Halruaa. Is this a bit better? I mean, we only have about 3 more minutes, but... It's fine. We have plenty of time to get down to the ground. We just don't want to linger too long.
Hey, Featherful. We'll be okay.
I do too. That would be quite fun.
We'll be doubly okay. Look at us.
Let's And she kind of gently guides you out over, looking down, kind of aiming. And you see her drifting back towards that main town square where you first entered. Okay. Yeah. No statues. We should be good here. What did you want to tell me?
So Pip kind of pulls up her skirts and reaches into her boot and takes out the tapestry of Zariel.
And it unrolls and just 400 feet above the city, which is an additional, the part where you're at the city is probably a good 1,000 feet above the valley floor. So you are, almost 1,500 feet above the valley floor, far below. And we just see this massive tapestry revealing, it's the River Styx. Is that the one that you have? Which one did you have?
Let me double check. Yeah. Because I meant to go back for the other one, but I did not.
You grabbed the Styx one.
The Styx one.
I did grab the Styx one.
The River Styx with the kind of angled metal barbs extending out over it and chains dangling off of them, and you can see figures attached to the chains over the River Styx. And she goes, wow.
I mean,
not bad.
Look at that thread work. Easily the most exquisite thing in the Vanthampur Manor.
It's
Look,
it really
looking
is,
at it now, though.
you know, it really is beautiful. You know, it's horrific, but remarkably done.
I thought that somebody who's such an expert in the hills and clearly has an interest in it might appreciate it.
Yes,
And-
here, and she kind of drifts up next to you so that she's kind of at your side, and puts an arm sort of in front of your stomach to pull the tapestry up so you can both lean down and look at it. Kind of extends an arm over and gently is like tracing one of the barbs. Look at how remarkable it is, the thread work here, and how it in order to do this, you would need eons of training. This was not done by mortal hands. Perhaps maybe an elf, but just the quality of the thread itself. You can't find something like this here on the material plane.
Can't find creatures like you on the material plane often either.
And she lets the thread, the tapestry kind of drop down.
I want to snatch that up.
I don't know how quite to react to that. It was flattering, to be sure, but I don't know. Have you been reading some of the novels that Little One recommends? Do you know Little
I
One?
have been reading this. No, I don't know, little one.
Okay, I'll have to introduce you for breakfast. What did you want to show me?
I wanted to show you the tapestry. Really, but also I did want to ask you about... There are a lot of things I need to ask you about.
Sure.
Maybe not necessarily now.
Sure. Whoop! And you both start to plummet. Okay, ready? Let's And she casts Featherfall on herself.
Yeah. Pip's Featherfall, since she's an alchemist, just like, all right, let's hold hands, and breaks open a vial that has another smaller vial inside of it, and immediately the foam starts spraying out, like molding around her hands and then her arm, and then kind of like billows out like a giant bubble, making kind of a parachute.
Amazing. And you start to just gently kind of bob down towards the square. You're still traveling at a decent pace. It's like if you had a parachute. It's not like you're super, it's still pretty quick. But eventually you bounce off of the cobblestone below. Again, you hear more gasps of people like, and then it sort of dissolves around you, leaving you both there on the square. With a gigantic limp tapestry of the river Styx extended out on this public town square. Do you want help putting that away?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And she helps you roll it up. Well, do you want to head back, or do you want to stay here for the night?
Well, it's not likely I'm going to come back here. Let's make the most of it.
Great. I know a wonderful spot. And she extends a hand, offering for you to hold it.
Pip takes it and then just goes like, wait, I should have done this when we were up in the sky. And then just leans in for a kiss. Goes in for a kiss.
She readily accepts and squeezes your hand tight, and then reaches over and puts it around your waist, and then pulls you in and gives you a hug as she kisses, and then lets go and leads you off into the city of Halruaa towards her favorite inn, where you will spend the night. All right, one successful date down. We are at 9:00, so next week we will pick up with Calliope getting up to some shenanigans, I suspect.
I figured out what it is.
Do you want to hold it for next week? Or we won't, right, next week we won't be playing
next week.
Yeah. But you can hold, are you okay with holding on to it, Calliope?
I can hold on to it.
Okay. What was the first kiss? Sorry, what was the first kiss like? Foamy. Yeah, next week we're going to be on Tabletop Misfits channel. Me, Claire, and Olive. Enyo won't be with us. It's just going to be the three of us. We're going to be talking about this, basically, about Story Reckless with James over at Tabletop Misfits. He's going to host us. We're really excited to be there and have some
NPCs.
Yes, we're going to be playing some NPCs, which we will save for that episode. So if you've been watching our show and like any of our NPCs, definitely tune in, because you will recognize some of the people that we'll be introducing. So
you will learn more.
You will learn more, yes. And
we're gonna try and figure out how to host, refer y'all to Tabletop Misfits. We're gonna learn more about how Twitch works.
Yeah.
Link you directly from our page to James's page.
Yeah, the thing where if you go on our channel, you see James's show. I don't know. Yeah. So
we're gonna try to figure that out.
Hosting on Twitch is what No One's Hero says. So
hosting on Twitch. Thank you, No One's Hero.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thanks everybody. This was a lot of fun. Thank you, Enyo, for doing.
That's our first successful date. We've been doing this for like almost 2 years.
This is the first time I've ever done this in D&D, and it was like unplanned completely.
Well, thank you. It was a lot of fun. I will say
it was fun.
It was very fun to do it with the Archmage stat block, because I could be like, this smell. This smell.
I loved the foamy feather fall. That made it for me.
So good. All right. See you all. Hopefully see you all next week when we're on Tabletop Misfits. Definitely see you in 2 weeks when we will resume this and see what the hell Calliope is going to get up to.
We thought that we were going to go to hell. Instead, we're just going on a lot of dates.
Dating sim, I guess. Okay.
Good to get that in now.
Yeah. Hey, you can date in hell. Okay, bye.
Bye.